Hey everyone, AlexJWilson.com here, and welcome to episode number 7 on my journey and how I'm turning $39,300 into $1 million by investing in condos in downtown Toronto. We've been getting tremendous feedback from the videos. People have been reaching out to me, scheduling phone calls, meeting in person for meetings, and they want to know how they can start their journey. And I love sharing this knowledge with these individuals so I can help them achieve their goals by investing in condos in downtown Toronto. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about A, the fundamentals of the Toronto market, B, what's happening in the current market, and C, last week we went over the roadmap on how you can grow your portfolio to over $1 million. And I showed you my portfolio to show you, yes, it is 100% possible. Everything I am saying is true. But you may be lying in bed going, why? Why would I even want to do this? So today we're going to talk about the why, and I really want you to think at the end of this video and take notes and really just plan a strategy session with yourself or with your spouse and figure out why you want to do this. You really need to think long-term in this. We're not talking about you tomorrow. We're not even talking about yourself in 1 year. We're looking at 5-year, 10-year, 15-year horizons on this. This is all about setting yourself up for the future. And I'm going to give you a few reasons on why you should really be considering this. Okay, number 1, defined benefit pension plans basically do not exist anymore. And you may be wondering what a defined benefit pension plan is. Well, back in the day when our parents were going to work, their decisions were based on what am I going to be paid, what's the job security, and what's my pension and benefits. Those were the big things. One of the things that was attractive was getting a defined benefit pension. What a defined benefit pension is that means once you retire, you have your exact defined benefit, your amount you're going to be paid for the rest of your life scheduled. That's it. You don't have no worries about this. Those have really been removed from the workforce these days. So you can't have that guaranteed financial security later on in life because those pension plans don't exist. What you may have now is a defined contribution plan where the company may be investing money in a pension plan for you, and maybe they'll provide some matching or something like that, but you really don't have the same financial security that our parents had. So really important to look forward to the future, and how is that future individual, your future self, going to sustain and survive when you're 50, 55, 60, 65. You really need to think about that. Number 2, financial freedom. What I mean by financial freedom wise is we're going to talk about companies again. We hear about downsizing, restructuring, automation, all those types of things that impact the job market. You may be extremely comfortable right now. You're on a rising scale, going up the corporate ladder, doing really, really good, making great money. You're happy, you're comfortable, you're set in life. But I want you to think about yourself in 5 years. Think about yourself in 10 years. Well, let's say we'll use myself as example. I'm 35 years old. So if I'm climbing the corporate ladder, I'm doing great. Things are really progressing wise. Now I'm getting to 45, and throughout those 10 years, I began promotions and raises, and things are really, really great. But now what I'm becoming is I'm becoming expensive on the books. And let's say we're looking at some restructuring. Profits aren't where the company wants it. You're now the expensive individual. You are the individual the company is going to look to cut. And then when you're 45, 50, 55, how employable are you after that? Do you want to be under that additional stress on, wow, oh my God, I got laid off. Now I have to rush into a job I may not like or at a lower pay scale just because I have to maintain my family, pay off my mortgage, those various things, maintain that lifestyle that you need to keep on going on because you haven't built any financial freedom and you don't have a plan on your financial freedom when those hiccups come up in life. And speaking of hiccups, 35 years old, health is still good, you're doing great. What about when you get a little bit older? What if a health shock happens? What if you're the major breadwinner and something happens to you and you're no longer able to work at that high capacity anymore and you can't bring that income in? How is your family going to sustain itself? What protectionism measures do you have in place? Let's say you have a heart attack when you're 45, or you have a physical injury that doesn't allow you to work anymore when you're 50. What if you have a stroke? These are things we got to think later on in life, not present day self, future self, and future self in 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. That's the why. That's what we need to be thinking about. Number 3, we have our children as well. So our children, we want to set up our children up for success in the future. So by investing now, maybe they have a property in downtown Toronto when they reach 18 years old. Maybe rental income from here helps offset that education that you're gonna have to pay for when they're entering a university. They may not be going to somewhere in Toronto, but we can offset the cost of that education by having something here in Toronto that's appreciating in value and providing you a cash flow. Setting yourself up for paying for your children's education, and again, maybe having a place for them to live sometime in the future here in Toronto. Just think about it. If you're in a position and you were in London, England, and you're in New York City, and you could have bought a property a number of years ago for your future generation, wouldn't that future generation be much, much better off? And when we think about that, we think about industry, and we think about how industry is rapidly changing people's consumer habits, even how things are manufactured. Many things are changing in this world. The one thing you can guarantee on is that someone is still going to need a place to live, and they're not building any more land. So we have no more land, and people will always need a roof over your head. You can't automate a roof over someone's head. You can't go digital a roof over someone's head. It's always going to be needed. So even in 20 years from now, that roof is going to be needed over that person's head. And if we look at the multiplier effect on how population growth has been growing substantially, we know we're going to need many more roofs over many more people's heads in 20 years time. This is a very safe and secure investment, investing in the condos. So these are some great whys on why you need to do this. Your future retirement, setting yourself up for that, because the same job security and pensions don't exist like our parents had. 2, your financial freedom. Let's say a health scare comes where you do get laid off from work. You're comfortable taking the time to figuring out what you need to do next, as opposed to putting that additional stress on yourself on trying to find that new job or trying to find the ends meet when you're not at your peak time when you can work and earn income. Number 3, your children, setting your children and future generations up for the future, because we know in 20 years time, or 10 years time, or even 5 years time, they're going to be going to school, they're going to need a place over their heads, and this is the great head start that you can give them to set themselves up for success in the future. Now, another thing I wanted to add on, you may want to know, what's Alex's whys? Alex does all this preaching to us, but who is Alex? Who is AlexJWilson.com? And I've mentioned it briefly before. I'm from a small town in Northern Ontario. It's called Gabriel. My mother, she worked for the city of Sudbury in a job she didn't like, but that's what she had to do then to help support her family. She had left university after 1 year because she took the family path. My father worked for the railway, a blue-collar individual, worked very, very hard. That's where I learned my hard work from. That's where my mother, from my father, working very, very hard for the family. But what I also saw, I saw my mother working a job she didn't like. I saw my father working very, very hard in physical labor, and his body slowly deteriorate, developing glaucoma, developing knee injuries, back injuries. So by the time he was in his 40s, his body was breaking down and he couldn't operate at the same level that he needed to help support the family. Then this added on the extra stress to the family. Then he had to take time off because his nerves were shot. He had mental health issues, massive mental health issues, entered into a severe depression, which ultimately ended up taking his life. So I watched a mother do a job that helped sustain the family. I watched a father who slowly, physically, and mentally broke down and ended up costing his life. I don't want that stress. I personally don't want that stress in my life. So I'm using my hardworking years now so I can set up a portfolio for myself and my family for the future. And speaking of my family and the future, my wife is expecting our first child. We're having a little girl September 25th. And I need to make sure that I'm gonna be around for my daughter so I can see my daughter graduate high school, graduate university, get married, have her own children, live her own life, have her own successes. Those are my whys. Those are what motivate me, and that's why I have been aggressively working hard and investing my hard-earned dollars back into real estate, leveraging my money opportunities to have a multiplier effect to grow my portfolio so that when I'm in my 40s and I'm in my 50s, I can enjoy that time with my family and I can pass down my knowledge to my family, and I'll be around for that. And not only did I experience my father passing away, my wife experienced her father passing away earlier in life as well. So we feel very strongly that, hey, we want me around for my daughter, and I want to see my daughter grow up. So those are my whys. That's why I want to invest in real estate, and that's why I want you out there to really set yourself up with a plan on how you can succeed in life, build up that financial freedom, reduce the stress in your life, so that when you're in your 40s, when you're in your 50s, when you're 60s, we've set you up. We have time on our side. Time which provides the appreciation, provides the equity pay down. And as I said, they're not building any more land, and there's only population growth, and you can't digitize a roof over someone's head. So in 20 years, you're gonna need all these properties. So those are my whys. Know a little bit more about me. If you want to start your journey, talk about your whys and how we can build your success to set you up for the future, give me a call. Phone number's down here. Send me an email. I'm here. Okay guys, Alex J. Wilson, making your real estate dreams come true. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.